that, which would work out to be a 129. But we'll make the mask 255.255.0, which would give us that. All right, here's what the computer does. It's going to use the mask and the IP address to determine the network address by ANDing. And watch what happens. By AND, the 1 and 1 is a 1, the 1 and 1 is a 1, 1 and a 0 is a 0, 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 1 and a 0 is a 0. 1 and a 0 is a 0, 1 and 1 is a 1, 1 and a 0 is a 0, 1 and a 0 is a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then we come over here, 1 and a 0 is a 0. Oh, these would all be zeros, wouldn't they? If I AND them. So look what happens. If you take the IP address and you AND it with the mask, what you'll get is the network address. And in this case, you would end up getting, oh, well, look at that. I would end up getting 1 in the 128 column plus 1 in the 64 column, which is 192. 1 in the 64 column, which is 64. And then, oh, 0. So your computer behind the scenes is using the IP address and the mask along with the AND function to determine the network address and then the scope or the size of the network. Now, if that's causing your head to spin, that's okay. I just wanted to, for trivia's sake, show you that process because it is mentioned in the curriculum. Any questions on that? Okay, cool the way it works, isn't it?
It just will clarify it before on.
Okay. So coming back to our compare and contrast, IPv4 32-bit value, we do need a mask with that. IPv6 128-bit value. While it can be subnetted at the ISP level, for us, always the first 64 bits, network portion, second 64 bits, host portion. And then with IPv4, we've got some unique values. With IPv4, if the value in the first octet is anything between 0 and 126, it's considered to be a Class A address. This part's kind of trivial too. That's a Class A. If the value in the first octet is a 127, that's a loopback address. What the hell's a loopback address?
You own the same NIC.
You're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
You're talking to yourself. Anytime you address something to loopback, what you're doing is sending a packet down to that NIC, and that packet's going to bounce right back up into the computer. So watch, if I ping 127.0.0.1 and hit enter,